This is writing scientific notation. When writing numbers in scientific notation, our first step is to move the decimal point so that it is located to the right of the first non-zero digit. We have to create our factor, and our factor has to be equal to or greater than 1, but less than 10. The next step will be to count how many places I had to move that decimal. That number will become my exponent. If the number that I began with was a large number greater than 10, my exponent is going to be positive. If the number that I started with was a very small number between 0 and 1, I'm going to have a negative exponent. Basically, when I move that decimal, in order to create my factor of 8.61, if I move the decimal to the left, I'm going to have a positive exponent. If I have to move my decimal to the right to create this factor of 2.4, I'm going to have a negative exponent. All right, so let's take a look at an example. Google purchased YouTube for $1,650,000,000, and they want us to write this number in scientific notation. So 1 is my first non-zero digit, so I'm going to write my factor 1.65, and I don't need to put 0.0000 after in a decimal, so I'm going to leave those off. Since my decimal is moving from the end all the way to between the 1 and the 6, I'm moving it to the left, and I have to count up how many spaces. I'm moving it 9 spaces. So 10 to the 9th. This is a big number to start with. It should have a positive exponent. The 2004 Indonesian earthquake slowed the rotation of the Earth, making the length of a day 0.0000268 seconds shorter. Write this number in scientific notation. Well, the first non-zero digit is a 2. So 2.68 is going to become my factor. My decimal is moving to the right, and to get from here to between the 2 and the 6, I'm moving it back 6 spots. Since I'm moving it to the right, it's going to have a negative exponent. Small numbers should have negative exponents. All right, an album has sold 8,780,000 copies. An album receives an award when it sells 10 million copies. How many more copies does it need to sell to receive the award? Write your answer in scientific notation. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to solve this and find the answer. So 10 million minus 8,780,000 right here is the first time that I need to actually borrow to do my subtraction problem. 10 minus 8, 2, 9 minus 7, 2, 9 minus 8, 1. So we still need 1,220,000 copies to sell before they're going to receive an award. So we want to write this number in scientific notation. So the first non-zero digit is 1. So I'm going to write 1.22. I don't need all those zeros after my decimal there. The decimal would be at the end. It's moving to between the 1 and the 2, so it's moving 6 spots left. So times 10 to the 6th power. This table shows the last 3 geologic eras and when they began. They want us to order the eras from the earliest to the most recent. Okay, so basically the first thing that I want to do is I want to compare the powers of 10. So I see that one of them has a smaller power of 10, the Cenozoic era, 6.55 times 10 to the 7th power. And that's going to be our, that is going to be our earliest because it has the smallest exponent. All right, now that I have 2 with a power of 8, the next thing I would do, since they're tied for powers, is I would compare their factors. So I've got 2.51 and 5.42. The 2.51 is smaller, so that's going to be our next earliest. And the most recent will be the 5.42 times 10 to the 8th power.